While it's undeniable that he has made an impact as a musician, Snoop Dogg has endured his share of struggles. From his time in a gang to his trial for first-degree murder, here's what we know about the rapper's troubled history. Snoop Dogg was born as Cordozar Calvin Broadus Jr. in Long Beach, California in October 1971. His mom was convinced that her son resembled Snoopy, one of the main characters from the Peanuts comic, which is how he got his nickname. They didn't have an easy life together. According to The Guardian, Snoop was mostly taken care of by his mom and stepdad. His biological father, Vernell Vernado, was a veteran from the Vietnam War who was hardly around for his family. While Vernado was eventually in touch with his son, things weren't completely okay between them. They have spoken about different memories of the same events from the past. Snoop's father would claim in interviews, "I picked Snoop up sometimes on the weekends. It was only about 15 miles from where I lived in LA, so it was nothing for me to jump in the car, you know?" On the other hand, Snoop Dogg said that he barely saw his dad. However, the musician didn't really hold that against Vernado and stayed friendly with him. Even aside from his father's abandonment, Snoop Dogg's childhood wasn't particularly normal. The musician spoke about his memories with the Crips gang from his teen years, telling The Guardian, "When you in the hood, joining a gang, it's cool because all your friends are in the gang, or your family's in the gang. We're not just killing people every night, we're just hanging out." Snoop Dogg had to help out by taking odd jobs such as delivering newspapers and selling candy to keep his family afloat financially. At one point, he got into serious trouble when he was arrested by the police for possession of cocaine. Snoop Dogg did regret some of his actions later and said, "I want to stress something to the little kids out there. There ain't nothing cool about selling dope." He added that he ended up selling drugs because he perceived it to be cool. Nothing came out of it and he had to spend time in jail. The charges resulted in a 6-month sentence in jail where the aspiring musician killed time by amusing his peers with rap. His fellow inmates noticed his love for music and said to him, "You need to be outside, not wasting your life away with crime." As a musician, Snoop Dogg didn't quite know what to expect when he first got into the industry. Things were more chaotic than he anticipated at the time. He embraced what the Los Angeles Times called a hardcore gangster persona, but he decided to change his ways later, learning from his experiences. Also, his friends mentioned that he didn't let his fame get to him and was down to earth despite becoming a household name. In fact, he would often visit his old friends and acquaintances without a second thought. He wasn't as tough as he seemed either. According to Rolling Stone, when the musician started working on a gig that involved coaching young football players, he teared up when the team lost one of their games. Snoop said, "I really cried at the end of the game. Tears in my eyes. I was that hurt." Snoop Dogg ended up tackling an unexpected controversy in the 1990s when he was charged with first-degree murder. Snoop and his ex-bodyguard, McKinley Lee, both were arrested and accused of the 1993 shooting of a rival gang member, Philip Waldemariam. It was a scary time for the musician, who wondered whether he would be with his family again. In the book The Dogg Father, The Times, Trials, and Hardcore Truths of Snoop Dogg, the musician said that he had to live with uncertainty for 3 years before he was eventually acquitted. He also said that it was only about self-defense at the time and there was nothing else to the tale. Snoop Dogg wrote that the prosecution was determined to come up with an entirely different story. Snoop was 24 years old by the time he was declared not guilty. When the verdict was announced, Snoop Dogg said, "I have been praying to God for this.
I prayed on it. My family prayed on it."
He emphasized to MTV News in an interview shortly after his acquittal that while he had been involved with gangs, his co-defendant had not. He said Lee acted in self-defense.
McKinley Lee has never, ever, ever, ever been involved with gangs.
The case definitely affected Snoop. He spoke to Fat Man Scoop in an Instagram chat in early 2021 and said that he changed his writing style after the court case and avoided rapping about death. Basically, he didn't want to glorify death anymore because his perspective had been significantly altered. He told Scoop, "On my second album, The Dogg Father, when I beat my murder case, I redirected my pen to write life because I felt like I had wrote death all up until that point." For Snoop Dogg, some of his toughest experiences involved his friends. He lost fellow musician Tupac Shakur in 1996. According to The Independent, the musician found a way to honor his friend and got him a spot in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2017. Tupac Shakur was really close to Snoop, who, according to his memoir, considered him to be closer than a brother. He added, "Sometimes, if you're lucky, someone comes into your life who'll take up a place in your heart that no one else can fill. Someone who's tighter than a twin, more with you than your own shadow." Also, according to Jet magazine, it was Tupac Shakur who convinced his friend to focus on his marriage and give it another shot when he was confused about his relationship. Snoop called him a true friend. Snoop suffered another heartbreak in 2021 when he lost his friend, hip-hop musician DMX, who was 50 years old at the time of his death. He participated in a memorable rap battle with Snoop in 2020. Remembering the battle, Snoop told Jimmy Fallon on The Tonight Show that their fans got, quote, a chance to see two dogs that naturally loved each other celebrate each other under the name of hip-hop. He said that the two, quote, had God in the building with us that night, adding that the two first met at a concert in the 1990s.
That makes me feel good about DMX's transition to know that he's off to a better place and he's finally got his angel wings.
Snoop Dogg did not have the easiest relationship with his wife Shantae. The couple started dating when they were teenagers, and they decided to tie the knot in 1997, years after they started seeing each other. They faced a rough patch in 2004 and nearly got divorced, but Snoop realized that he couldn't do without his wife and children. He got rid of the divorce papers and went back home. Snoop was quoted as saying, "I made a mistake, so I'm trying to get back right." He also told MTV, "I was trying to get a divorce, but I went back home and I fell back in love with my wife and kids. A lot of times you get cloudy." He added that the music industry is a rough place and can distract a person from what's truly important. According to Jet magazine, Snoop believes that being with his family has been really good for him and considers Shantae to be his closest confidant, someone who knows his secrets and roots for him anyway. Also, she helped out Snoop by taking on managerial duties and looking after her husband's business. Snoop said, "She has my back. It's cool having someone you can trust 100%. In a statement after appointing Shantae as his manager, Snoop said, "Shantae has been guiding my career behind the scenes from day one. She has always been my final gut check with all my decisions, and I wouldn't be where I am today without her. I am grateful to have her as my official manager, helping to build the Snoop Dogg empire together."
Today I'm gonna have to say that she's always right.
Life has been tough for Snoop's daughter, Corey Broaddus. She chose to open up about her health troubles in a moving Instagram video in May 2021.
I've been going through a lot, right?
Corey shared many details from her past, finding out that she had lupus when she was a child and struggling to come to terms with it. She said that when she was younger, she couldn't understand why she was in so much pain. Also, she was not a stranger to bullying in school. Corey spoke about her father saying, "Just because my dad is who he is doesn't mean I don't get sad. That doesn't mean that I don't want things or that I don't feel a way." Corey added that she has lived with depression for years and found herself in a bad place after her boyfriend got into an accident.
I've always been sad, I've always been depressed, because I feel like I've been through a lot.
Corey isolated herself and attempted to take her own life while trying to deal with her demons. Paramedics rescued her and she is now working on her recovery. She added that suicide isn't worth it and it's important to collectively work on our mental health. Snoop Dogg has been in and out of prison on many occasions. In his book, he mentioned that he had been treated unfairly in the past and was stuck within the criminal justice system. He wrote, "The first time I was locked up wasn't the last time, and even if I knew then what I know now, I can't promise you things would be a whole lot different." He went on to write about facing racial discrimination in his youth, saying, "Being black in this country means serving time, one way or the other, and that's a sad fact." He admitted that he could see how he ended up in jail when he was younger. That said, he was never comfortable with it and wanted to do better for himself. He eventually understood that petty crime wasn't worth it and wasn't even going to pay his bills at any point. Snoop's mom also knew that her son wasn't in good company and did her best to make him leave his old habits behind. She told him how disappointed she was with his actions. Snoop Dogg has been associated with drugs for many years. In 2012, he was reportedly banned from entering Norway. According to a BBC report, the country decided to stop the musician from visiting for 2 years after he was caught with cannabis at an airport. His lawyer said that Snoop wasn't planning to challenge the ban. The same year, police officials arrested him in Texas after they discovered cannabis on his tour bus. According to Rolling Stone, the drugs were unearthed in a wastebasket. While Snoop had a medical prescription for cannabis in California, it was still illegal in Texas. In 2015, according to The Guardian, Snoop Dogg was questioned by cops in Sweden who believed that he was high. A local police officer said, "Police carrying out roadside controls noticed that Snoop Dogg, whose car was pulled over, seemed to be under the influence of narcotics. They decided to take him to a police station for a drug test. Snoop wasn't pleased. He took to social media to voice his discontent and claimed that the tests revealed nothing, insisting that he was subjected to racial discrimination." In July 2021, Snoop Dogg posted a rare update about his mom's health on Instagram. The caption read, "Happy Sunday. Me and my brothers went to see Mama today, and she opened up her eyes to see us and let us know she's still fighting." It was accompanied by a photo of the musician's mom on a hospital bed, surrounded by her loved ones. Snoop also thanked his fans for their prayers and said that the family was taking things one day at a time. He first wrote about his mom's condition in May and requested his fans send prayers for her health. He didn't reveal any more details. Sadly, the musician lost his mom on October 25, 2021. He put up several posts that were dedicated to his mom on Instagram, writing in one of the captions, "Mama, thank you for having me." If you or anyone you know is having suicidal thoughts, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK 8255.